Alright everybody, today we are smoking a homemade corned beef. I corned it myself, and basically that's really easy to do. You just get some of the pinking salt and you get some regular salt, and you basically are soaking it for 7 to 10 days. Corning it myself it doesn't quite get as pink as you see in the store, and I wonder, they have to be using some kind of coloring so that it really gets pink, because this is not quite as pink as the store, but it did pink up a little bit using the pinking salt. So check this out. You see, it's not quite red beefy looking, but it does have some pink on it. Let me flip this over and you can get a good look at it. You see the pink in there? So in this, we've put a homemade corned beef rub on this. Really super easy to make. I will leave the recipe down in the description, but the smoker is heating up and we are about ready to get this on. And we're gonna cook this at about 225 until the meat is about 155 to 160 degrees. And then we're gonna cover it up just like we do a brisket, because we want all the juices to stay in at that point after we get a little smoke flavor on it. And we want it to get nice and tender and juicy. As you can see, there's not a ton of seasoning here, but with this homemade seasoning, you definitely can overdo it. And we're smoking today on a Green Mountain wood pellet grill, and it does a fantastic job. It is heating up right now. We're getting this up to 225, and as soon as it's 225, get the meat on. All right, the grill is warm. We are gonna get this piece of meat right on here. That's about how I want it right there. And we're gonna get the temperature probe in here, because like I said, we are cooking this to about 155 to 160. Brisket has a tendency to stall at 160 to 165. I don't want this stalling at all. I just want it to keep on cooking. At 160, 155, 160, we're gonna wrap this up. All the juices stay in the foil, and we're gonna hopefully have a nice juicy corned beef brisket here. So let me get this smoker closed back up so we can get this thing heating, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so the meat has reached a temperature where we want to wrap it up. So we're gonna use a combination of parchment paper and tin foil just to wrap it tight and keep it tight for the rest of the cook. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that looks absolutely amazing. Wow. All right, we don't want this cooling down, so we're gonna get this on here. Like I said, parchment paper and tin foil. And we're just gonna wrap this kind of as tight as we can here. And we're gonna leave the temperature thermometer in there, because we still want to read the temperature. Part of the reason I use tin foil on the outside is because I can wrap it and it'll actually mold together here, where parchment paper will just open back up. And we're going to cook it the rest of the way just like that. Foil and the parchment paper is really going to help all the heat and the juices just stay in there, because we want this nice and juicy. At this point, there's going to be no more smoke on it. We're going to cook the rest of the way like that, and we're going to finish it off until it reaches 200 degrees, because at that point it'll not only be done all the way through, but it should be nice and tender. So let's get this grill closed back up. As soon as it gets to 200, we're taking it off. All right, our corned beef just reached 200 degrees. Actually, when I say just, I mean about 5 minutes ago. I let it get there for about 5 minutes just to make sure it was 200 degrees, right? So what we're gonna do here is we are gonna take, first thing we're gonna do, let's get this temperature thermometer out of here. I'm gonna seal this back out. Look, actually you can see the steam coming out of there. You know that's toasty and juicy in there. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get this off here. We're gonna put it in a cooler, same as we would a brisket, and we're gonna let it set for about 30 minutes. So I got my cooler right here. That's a towel because I like to keep it warm. So I just set it right in my cooler there. And I know, you know, the first time I did this, I was doubtful. Like, why would you put it in a cooler and let it rest for, you know, brisket's in there for an hour? I'm like, it's gonna cool down. Nope, it actually doesn't. So this will be almost 200 degrees still in a half hour in the cooler. it stays amazingly hot in there, and then the juices get to reabsorb into the meat. This is hopefully going to be tender and juicy as normally when we cook a brisket. All right, so the corned beef has been resting for about 30 minutes. We got it in the cooler. We're gonna get it out. We're gonna drain the juice into this pan, because it's the thing about corned beef and brisket, when you cook it, it has a tendency to get dry, you know, if you have any leftovers. So I like to save all the juices. You know, there's plenty of juices. Keep this moist. Resting for 30 minutes, as I mentioned, it stays very, very hot. All right, so let's get this cut. This is actually difficult to see. You typically want to cut against the grain. I think this is where they cut the flat off. So we're going to start on the tip. Let's see. Let's just keep cutting this here. Let's see. Look at that. It does look nice and juicy. Still very hot. And as I mentioned before, I didn't think it was pink, but that pinking salt did get that kind of pink on the inside. The outside just didn't look as pink. All right, let's cut ourselves a piece here and try this out. Homemade corned beef. That's pretty good. A little saltier than what you'd buy at the store, but otherwise, the corned beef flavor is really good. Kind of like it. So I'm gonna make myself a plate, get a little sauerkraut maybe, throw in here. I appreciate you stopping. Thanks for watching my video. Click that thumbs up, like this, and thanks for stopping.